Imagine this: a young woman thousands of miles from home, enjoying the excitement of studying abroad in Brisbane, Australia. It's a peaceful evening until it isn't. Sophie Collombet, a 21-year-old French exchange student, steps off a bus just moments from her apartment, unaware that the city's dark side is about to unfold. What happened next was not just a random act of violence, but a cold, calculated crime that left her life shattered and a community in shock. How could this happen in a place known for its safety and warmth? Tonight, on Beneath the Surface, the dark side of crime, we'll uncover the chilling details behind Sophie's tragic death, the investigation that followed, and the haunting reality that sometimes evil strikes when we least expect it. Stay with us and make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below to support our channel as we continue to dive deep into the stories hidden beneath the surface. The rain poured relentlessly over Brisbane on the night of March 27, 2014. The usually bustling streets were eerily quiet, as if the storm had swept away all signs of life. But in the shadows of Kilda Park, nestled by the Brisbane River, something far darker was unfolding. There, beneath a rotunda, lay the lifeless body of 21-year-old Sophie Collombet, a young French exchange student, stripped of her dignity, a victim of a brutal attack. No one had seen the horror that had occurred just hours earlier. No one, except for the killer. A jogger, shivering from the cold, noticed her slumped figure on a bench. At first, he thought she was just another homeless person taking shelter. But when he approached, he discovered the chilling truth. Sophie was naked, covered only by a newspaper and a jacket, her body bruised and battered. She had been savagely beaten, raped, and left to die in the early hours of the morning. Her life had been stolen in the cruelest of ways. As paramedics arrived on the scene, Sophie was already beyond saving, her pulse faint, her breath shallow. But she had fought. She had clung to life long after the attack. Sophie Collombet's journey to Australia began like so many other exchange students, full of excitement and promise. At 21, she had already traveled widely and was eager to take on the world. Born and raised in the small village of Epernay in northern France, Sophie had always been driven by a thirst for knowledge and adventure. Her family knew from an early age that Sophie was destined for a bright future, one where the world was hers to explore. Her decision to study abroad in Australia was not one made lightly. It was a leap toward independence, a chance to experience new cultures, and an opportunity to immerse herself in a world vastly different from the one she knew. Sophie arrived in Brisbane in early 2013, feeling both exhilarated and a little homesick. She enrolled at Griffith University, excited to learn and meet new people. She quickly made friends, becoming known for her infectious smile, curiosity, and willingness to try anything once. Despite her vibrant personality, Sophie struggled with homesickness. She missed her family, her hometown, and the comfort of familiar surroundings. Her boyfriend, Boris, had been by her side throughout much of her journey, supporting her from afar as she adjusted to life in Australia. The pair had met during a study trip to Paris and quickly formed a deep connection. Their bond was undeniable, with Boris often traveling to visit her during breaks. However, as her time in Australia continued, Boris's visa expired, and he was forced to return to France. Sophie, too, planned to return home in the summer, but not before saving enough money for the trip. She worked tirelessly at various jobs, including door-to-door sales, teaching French, and even taking on other odd jobs. The dream of returning home in June was the one thing that kept her going. But as Sophie worked long hours, she began to struggle with the emotional toll of being away from home. Her family received regular emails and phone calls, and although Sophie spoke fondly of her life in Australia, her homesickness was palpable in her letters. In one email, sent just weeks before her death, she wrote affectionately to her mother, signing off with kisses. It was the last time her mother would hear from her. Sophie's family knew she had been working hard to save for her return, and they eagerly anticipated her arrival back in France. Meanwhile, Sophie's friends in Australia were unaware of the lurking danger. Despite Brisbane's reputation as a generally safe city, it had been experiencing a surge of crimes in certain areas, including attacks on international students. Sophie was unaware that the city's streets, which she had walked countless times before, were becoming increasingly dangerous. March 27, 2014, began as an ordinary day for Sophie. She attended her classes at Griffith University, where she was well liked by her professors and peers. The day was uneventful until the evening. After finishing her last class, Sophie declined an offer for a lift from a classmate and instead took the bus with a friend to the Cultural Center terminal. The friend, who had plans of their own, left Sophie around 8:30 p.m. at the terminal, and it was the last time anyone saw her alive. Sophie began the walk home, passing the familiar streets near the Brisbane River. In the CCTV footage captured shortly before 9 p.m., she can be seen walking alone, her umbrella in one hand, her bag clutched in the other. Sophie's apartment was just a short distance away. She was mere minutes from safety. But the world she knew was about to change forever. As Sophie walked along the quiet path near the Kilda Bridge, a figure approached her. Benjamin James Millward, a 25-year-old man with a history of criminal activity, was in the area. He had recently been released from prison after serving time for violent offenses, and on that night, he was high on a dangerous cocktail of drugs, including methamphetamine and alcohol. His erratic behavior had already been noticed by those around him, but no one knew that he would cross paths with Sophie in such a brutal and horrific way. Millward had no clear motive for his actions. He was an opportunist, fueled by his drug-induced rage. Sophie was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. As she passed him on the path, Millward attacked without warning, violently striking her in the head. Sophie fought back with all her strength, but Millward overpowered her, continuing his assault with ferocity. Her screams for help were unheard in the rain-soaked darkness of the night. It was clear from the post-mortem report that Sophie had fought valiantly for her life. She had been subjected to extreme violence, struck repeatedly, raped, and left with over 100 external injuries. Even in her final moments, Sophie clung to life. Her body was found hours after the attack, discarded and ignored by passers-by who mistook her for a homeless person. Her belongings were thrown into the Brisbane River by Millward as he fled the scene, a man who would soon become the primary suspect in one of the city's most heartbreaking crimes. The discovery of Sophie's body shocked Brisbane, and the investigation that followed was a race against time. Detectives were tasked with unraveling the mystery of her death, but there was very little to go on. The first break came when Sophie's boyfriend, Boris, saw a news report about the jewelry found on the victim's body. He immediately recognized it as Sophie's. In that moment, Boris's worst fears were confirmed. The woman he loved was gone, and she had been brutally murdered. As the investigation unfolded, detectives turned to the Oscar homeless hostel where Millward had been staying. He had not returned to the hostel for several nights, and his belongings were still there. This raised immediate concerns. Police were quick to gather CCTV footage from the area, which revealed Millward's presence near the scene of the crime on the night of Sophie's attack. The evidence was damning. Millward's criminal record was extensive. He had been involved in a series of violent offenses, and his history of drug abuse added to the complexity of the case. His behavior in the days leading up to the attack had been erratic, and witnesses recalled seeing him in the area acting strangely. As the investigation continued, detectives pieced together Millward's movements, leading them to identify him as the prime suspect. A nationwide manhunt was launched. Police scoured the area, interviewing witnesses and looking for any clues that would lead them to Millward. After several days of intense searching, Millward was found in New South Wales and arrested. When confronted by police, he initially denied involvement, but later admitted to the attack, claiming he couldn't remember much due to the drugs he had taken. Despite his admission, Millward's actions would forever haunt those who knew Sophie. The trial of Benjamin Millward was a harrowing experience for Sophie's family, friends, and everyone who had been touched by her tragic death. In a courtroom filled with emotion, Millward pleaded guilty to the charges of rape and murder. His defense attorney argued that he was deeply sorry for his actions, but no amount of apology could undo the pain Sophie's family had suffered. Sophie's parents, Gian and Corinne, traveled from France to attend the trial, their hearts breaking as they relived the nightmare of losing their daughter. Sophie's brothers, Elle and Gam, also made the journey, devastated by the loss of their sister. Sophie's boyfriend, Boris, had already returned to France to mourn, unable to bear the pain of losing the woman he had loved. In his sentencing, Millward was given life in prison, with a minimum non-parole period of 20 years. The judge's remarks were filled with condemnation, describing Millward's actions as unforgivable. Sophie's death was a senseless, brutal tragedy, and the judge made it clear that such violence would not be tolerated in society. The impact of Sophie's death rippled through the community. A memorial was held in Brisbane, where more than 2,000 people gathered to honor Sophie's memory. Flowers, candles, and messages flooded the park where she had been found. The community stood together, showing solidarity and strength in the face of tragedy. Sophie's death had left a hole in the hearts of those who had known her, but they came together to ensure she would never be forgotten. Sophie Collombet's tragic death serves as a painful reminder that even in the safest of communities, the darkness can strike unexpectedly. Her life was full of promise, a young woman with dreams of returning home to France. But those dreams were stolen in the most brutal way. Sophie's story is one of heartbreak, but it is also one of resilience. The community that rallied around her family, the legal system that sought justice, and the love and support of those who knew Sophie stand as a testament to the human spirit. Sophie's death will never be forgotten, and her legacy continues to inspire those who hear her story. Her kindness, her laughter, and her boundless energy will live on in the hearts of those who loved her. This tragedy reminds us all that we must cherish those we love and stand together in the face of unimaginable pain. Sophie may have been taken from this world too soon, but she will always be remembered. This story serves as a sobering reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictability of violence. Sophie's tragic story left a city shaken and a family forever changed. But it also reminds us of the power of community, the strength of love, and the importance of standing up against violence. Sophie Collombet's life was full of promise, and although her life was taken too soon, she continues to be remembered as a young woman whose kindness and joy touched everyone around her. May her story never be forgotten, and may we all carry her spirit forward with us each and every day. Thank you for watching this episode of Beneath the Surface, The Dark Side of Crime. Sophie Collombet's tragic death is a reminder that even the safest of places can be haunted by violence. It's a story that continues to resonate with everyone who has followed it, from her grieving family in France to the community in Brisbane who mourned her loss. Sophie's spirit lives on in the memories of those who loved her and in the lessons we must learn from her story. If you found this case as haunting as we did, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime stories, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps us bring you more powerful narratives, shining a light on the dark side of crime. Until next time, stay vigilant, and remember to always look beneath the surface.